G'day guys, welcome to another video. This week I'm joined by little Matilda. Hey, she's got the hiccups at the moment, and at the moment mum's out, so you know, it's a little bit daddy-daughter time. So naturally we're talking about football. Anyway, so let's get stuck into it, guys. Round 21, start off Friday night with Essendon and St Kilda, and I think Essendon are going to win. Should be quite straightforward, you would think. Essendon find themselves in this strange no man's land, sort of pipe dream to make the 8th sort of thing, because their loss against the Hawks really hurt them. They're 2 games outside the 8, as with Adelaide, and technically could still do it, but they're starting to need results to go their way. St Kilda really aren't playing for pride at this time, but I think Essendon should have that game fairly easily. Moving on to Saturday's games, we've got Hawthorn versus Geelong, and this is where we start to get really interesting. Both teams are really looking to make the finals, and you find that pretty much most teams between probably about 4th and 12th technically can make the finals. So this is really the pointy end of the season for some teams. I think Geelong probably will get up ahead. Hawthorn seem to choke, unfortunately, as much as I like Hawthorn at times, and they go through rough patches, and same could be said about Geelong, to be honest, but I know I do like Geelong's form over the last couple of weeks. They've played some really good football, won some really tight games, and lost some close ones as well, because they lost against Adelaide a couple, probably about 4 weeks ago, and of course they just lost to Richmond by 3 points. So I think they'll be quite eager to get on the winning side of things again. Moving on to probably one of the more sort of predictable games, Gold Coast Suns take on Richmond. Richmond, I don't think anyone's really gonna tap the Suns to that one. They're just too poor. They've got, they're with what's his name, Tom Lynch leaving, giving notice last week, and their leadership team's falling apart. Like, what else can you say? Richmond, it is outside Victoria, so there's that going for the Suns, but I don't think it's nearly enough. Richmond's still a very, very good side, and they're still clear on top. And I did see that they were, odds-on favourites to win another premiership this year. So Richmond quite easily on that one. Port Adelaide take on the Eagles, and I will say Port Adelaide. Gaff looks like he's in trouble. That being said, at the time of this recording, the Eagles are probably about 50 odd points up. So I got the sort of jump on early. But the Power didn't play too badly in their loss against Adelaide. You're right there, little girl. You? Hey? Okay. They didn't play too badly. They just sort of, took their foot off the pedal. Maybe got an unlucky break right at the end to cost them the win. But yeah, Jesus Christ. Round 20's games, most of them were actually really, really good. So I think it'll be interesting, but I will tip Port against the Eagles in that one. Magpies taking on Brisbane. I think the Magpies should have that one. It should be like a little bit, not quite a strong in the park, but they shouldn't really have to exert themselves too much. They do have injuries though, so that might be Brisbane's in. Brisbane really, their defense is letting them down really badly. They can have no trouble scoring, but other teams score more. That's their problem. But still, Collingwood for that one. Giants take on the Crows, and I'm going to tip Giants. That being said, they do. Ooh, you right there? They had 4 injuries. They had nobody on the bench in their game. It's against the Sun. Sorry, against Carlton. You right there? Yes, I had 4 injuries against Carlton, and they still beat them by 100 points. But that being said, if the Crows can get up, you'd kind of think they probably should get into the finals. They play North Melbourne and they've got Carlton the week after. I don't think they can do it. But we'll see. So GWS to that one. Moving on to Sunday's games, we have North Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs. And again, North are in the same pocket as many other teams. Still vying for a spot in the 8. And I think they should be fairly comfortable over the Bulldogs. Bulldogs did beat St Kilda, but St Kilda have just been absolutely terrible. Oh, you're right there? Excuse me. You right there? Just a little bit bubbly. Oh, okay. St Kilda have been absolutely terrible. Probably third worst team. I mean, Carlton have just been absolutely woeful. Suns have been absolutely woeful. Brisbane have been quite bad, but they have been showing some promise. But St Kilda, probably a little bit worse than them. Yeah, I don't know. The Bulldogs, when they look like they're on sometimes, but they'll back it up with about 4 losses in a row. So I'll go North fairly comfortably in that one. Melbourne against Sydney. Melbourne are in really good form. Sydney bounced back against a couple of wins. You do have to probably tip Melbourne on that one. Melbourne, they've been travelling really, really nicely. A lot of the guys, Max Gawn. You right? Let's face it, it's probably the best ruckman of the competition this year. Just no one's been able to come close. Except for Martin from Brisbane, maybe, but Oh, no, you disagree? I agree. Source Jacobs is too old. But the problem with Sydney is that they've had a lot of outs. I did see McVeigh come back in. Oh, you're right there. Over the weekend, and did lift the team somewhat, but there's still... I don't know. I just don't see Sydney... I just don't see Sydney beating Melbourne, so I'll tip Melbourne for that one. And let's have a look at the last match. It's pretty much a dead rubber between the Fremantle Dockers and Carlton. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go Carlton. Fremantle are going to absolutely destroy them, but I'm going to back Carlton because they've got so much promise. I think in a couple of years they'll probably be, we'll probably start to see them rise. But they are definitely a long way off being a great team. Hopefully some maturity, some game time for some of their up-and-coming players, and some retirements for, most of the AFL. Maybe Carlton can sort of conjure something and pick something up from the season. Apart from that, guys, that's it. Thank you very much for watching another video. Do you want to wave goodbye? Apparently she doesn't want to. Thanks, guys. See you next week.